So GoFundMe, this is long overdue surgery, like 20 years overdue. The first of two, arthroscopy, then ligament reconstruction. Looks like I'm not gonna have to cancel it tomorrow because GoFundMe was able to raise about $1,100, so it's about a little more than half my rent. If I get a little bit more, be able to cover at least the rent for this month while I recover and recuperate. So yeah, it looks like it's a go tomorrow, and we'll see how it all pans out, won't we? All right. Looks like they made 3 incisions. I mean, I don't know. It's just frustrating. So I first messed up my knee when I was 22, skateboarding. I dislocated the patella and chipped away some bone fragments, and then the MCL healed in an elongated state. And I was under the impression that I didn't have health insurance at the time. And then I messed up my back at work when I was 25, herniated a couple discs in my lower back. I mean, there was a lot of like cramped space, tight movements with like heavy trays and stuff. And I just I leaned over to check the cake boxes underneath the counter one day, and when I straightened up, it felt like somebody plucked a guitar string in my back, and like my leg went numb. Just the pain was really intense. And I was my manager Sherry, she was really cool. I was like, Sherry, I think I need to go home. Went to the work comp doc, and he told me it was a pulled muscle. I should keep working and keep going to school. And I was like, my leg is numb, and I can't sleep because of the pain, much less anything else. I think it's more than a pulled muscle, but we had a little intense exchange, and he literally walked out of the exam room, and the nurse came in and was like, what am I doing here? I was like, that's a good question. They basically sent me home. Then I ended up, fast forward 6 weeks, and I ended up in the emergency room because I had an episode of bowel incontinence, and the ER doc was like, nobody ordered an MRI, and I was like, nope. And so the ER doc ordered one, and he was like, you have a herniated disc, and then parents' friend who was a doctor was on the phone with him after that visit, and he said, you need to stop what you're doing, move home to recuperate, or you could paralyze yourself. And I was like, okay. So I had to quit everything. I just started grad program at Humboldt State, and I had to move home and and when I was down there, they did a flex MRI. They're like, oh, you actually have 3 herniated discs, and then my parents had gone through a pretty nasty divorce, and my mom said that she needed me to start paying rent. I was like, okay. I was making like $660 a month in temporary disability, and 2 weeks before I was supposed to start paying $600 a month in rent, she said I needed to move out, and I was like, that's not what you said. And she's like, yes it is. And I was just like, if I had that in mind, I would be looking for a place. And so I had 2 weeks to get my shit together and get out, and managed to get a tutoring job and moved in with some friends, couch surf for a month, and then got a place with some friends and went from there. So anyways, my mom's new boyfriend, I think, convinced her to do that, but I mean, it was still her choice. Anyways, so that didn't help with the back injury recovery. So I went to grad school after that and taught for a long time, did some organizing work and this and the other thing, a lot of odd jobs still, like manual labor, things I shouldn't have been doing. And then 2020 dislocated the patella again, because of the pandemic. It went pretty much untreated, and then 2022 I got sent home with a diagnosis in the knee of a repetitive stress injury, when actually there's bone fragments floating around again and gumming things up. So kept going on it when I shouldn't have, and kept getting messed up, and finally got on Medi-Cal. And on Medi-Cal, someone was like, oh yeah, this pain I've been telling doctors about my upper back for 15 years. And she's like, and within 5 minutes, she was like, oh, we'll do a thoracic MRI. And I was like, I didn't know that was a fucking option. And so thoracic MRI, it turns out this intense pain having my upper back is from a malformed disc combined with the scoliosis and the kyphosis. Fun times. I had to wear a brace for a year when I was a kid. So it's just been a lot of undiagnosed stuff, misdiagnosed stuff, not having resources to take time off to heal. So long story short, that was 2022 with the repetitive stress injury diagnosis. May 1st, 2025, finally got arthroscopy done and to buzz away those bone fragments and clean up the meniscus, and still need MCL reconstruction. They did a biopsy to grow a cadaver ligament, but that's gonna have to wait till I have full-time job and health insurance again. And I was only able to do this one because of a GoFundMe that raised like $2,200, which is not enough to take a month off, but at least got me a couple weeks. And so yeah, back to work. Been having to, even just having to sub a couple days, substitute teach a couple days over the past couple weeks, because temporary disability is only $156 a week, because rideshare income doesn't count for that, because Prop 22, thanks California voters, the big rideshare companies did a massive propaganda campaign and got people to repeal some legislation, vote against whatever, make it say that rideshare people are independent contractors, not employees, so that doesn't count. That income doesn't count for anything for benefits. So yeah, it's just been a pain in the ass, and I'm just grateful that it's not terminal. I can still walk and talk and wipe my own butt, and those are all good things. But it has made life really difficult, and I don't know, chronic pain is one of those things. It's like, especially like a back injury, if you're still mobile, people just like, they just don't. Too often people just don't take it very seriously, and that can be frustrating for folks who deal with that kind of stuff, because it's like life is hard enough when you're just like kind of constantly in pain. Your body is constantly telling you like, stop everything you're doing. So I'm just grateful for the people that helped out, and that I was able to get this surgery. Because as much as it's still just janky and hurt and painful and recovering, it's been 3.5 weeks now. I can feel that there's like, it feels underneath, I can feel that those bone fragments are gone underneath my kneecap, you know what I mean? And it still hurts because there's a lot of the cartilage is worn away, so there's like some bone on bone action, so you get some pretty, like, thankfully like brief, like, but really acute pain sometimes anyways. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know, man, it's just this, like, I do not understand, in all my days I will never understand how like making money and taking care of people's health are compatible. How are those two things allowed to coexist? Like, it just makes no sense to me.